Yo, what is good, everyone? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another video that I have here. Maybe it's a little bit more of a rant, or it's kind of like a call-out video. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I want to talk about Square Enix. And I've kind of made a video like this before, but I guess it was a little bit more negative in tone. I'm going to try to be balanced here, but at the same time, there's a lot of high expectations I have for this company when it comes to Square Enix. Now, we recently talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake, them adding in new battle planners and all this other stuff, and how the scope of this game is just getting massive, and that's all fine and dandy. That's cool. We know what they're going to do for PlayStation 4, heck, maybe even PlayStation 5 when it comes to some of the titles. But I want to talk about some of the stuff that they said about the Nintendo Switch, the predicament or the situation the system is in, and kind of going forward, kind of the put up or shut up for Square Enix. And I think that year is this year. Now, we talk about third-party support, and a lot of you guys hear me say, okay, well, developers didn't know the system was going to be successful, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of that is referring to Western developers. Not all of it, but a lot of that is when it comes to what games are coming over. I'm patient when it comes to Western developers because a lot of them still don't believe in the Nintendo Switch or feel that certain games have to have a certain level or certain type of gameplay in order for them to bring it over, which is fine. We're going to see that this year at E3. We're going to see a lot of different games come over that a lot of you guys didn't think would come over. But I want to talk about Square Enix because they particularly said a little bit ago that they are going to retroactively try to reboot IPs on the Nintendo Switch. This year, in my opinion, you've gotten your time, Square Enix, because you knew about the Nintendo Switch well before a lot of other developers did. You've gotten your time at this point. I understand when it comes to Dragon Quest, you guys made that clear. I'm not sitting here and crying about that or complaining about that. What I'm talking about is sticking to your word when it comes to retroactively rebooting IPs that you said yourself you wanted to do. Now, we do have The World Ends With You. Yes, they're rebooting that, but to me, it looks like they're going to take the smartphone game, spruce it up, and put it out on the Nintendo Switch. And on top of that, Nintendo is publishing that game. Now, what I would like to see from Square Enix is them just stick to what they're going to say, reboot their IPs. So what does that mean? We need to see Chrono Trigger. We need to see Chrono Cross. We need to see all of these games that fans have been asking for a while now, that you freely do when it comes to PlayStation. Rebooted or remastered multiple Final Fantasy games and put them only on PC and on PlayStation 4. So where are all the rebooting Nintendo games from the past that you guys used to do? Like I said, Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross is from PlayStation, but you guys see what I'm saying here. Getting the Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger remasters on the Nintendo Switch would be pretty hype. Also, what about some of the other stuff that you've done? Final Fantasy VI is heralded as probably the best Square Enix Super Nintendo game in terms of Final Fantasy, or just Square Enix Final Fantasy game on Nintendo systems. A lot of people feel that Final Fantasy VI is the best one. Where is that at? Are you going to do that this year? And that's the type of stuff that I want to see. You know how Square Enix took their time to reboot and remaster Final Fantasy XII, made it look really good, brought it up to about PS3 level-ish type of graphics? Isn't that pretty cool, right? That's actually really cool that they did that. Okay, now where's the treatment for Final Fantasy VI on the Nintendo Switch? You can take that game, why don't you reboot it and make it look like a PS3 game? Where's that at? Where's like Secret of Evermore? Where's Illusion of Gaia? There are so many different games that they could do. Now, I'm not asking for all those games like at this point, or Square Enix should have done all of them like right now or anything. What I'm saying is that 2018 is that put up or shut up year when it comes to this company. I want to see them actually do what they said they were going to do, and that's it. I'm not expecting them to bring a bunch of Final Fantasies and a bunch of new games over, because we already know how Square Enix operates. They will jeopardize their potential base in terms of Japanese gamers or whatever the case is in order to suck up to Sony, or order to get something out for the graphically powerful machines, whatever the case is. We saw it with Dissidia, Final Fantasy NT, right? That was a portable game. Everyone who liked that game, who were playing that game, that was essentially for the portable base, the Japanese audience, and then people liked it over here too. They took that and made it into an arcade game than put it on PlayStation 4, you know, and it tanked because of that. So this is something that Square Enix has been doing, and I know that they're going to do again. Heck, Final Fantasy Type O, that's also another one, you know, that they took out. They didn't release it on portable. They just released it on the home consoles. That one, I guess, worked out a little bit better, but it was probably a lot cheaper to remaster that one and reboot because it didn't even look that great on the PS4 and Xbox One. Heck, I have it, and I'm just like, I'm not really too impressed with that game. So it just comes down to certain things, right? It just comes down to what Square Enix wants to do and how they're going to do it. So what am I looking at this year? Like, what's the timetable? What's the time frame that I would like to see Square Enix kind of put up or shut up on the Nintendo Switch? Well, to me, it would be E3 and Tokyo Game Show. If they don't do anything at E3, if we don't see a Chrono Trigger reboot, or if we don't see Secret of Evermore, Illusion of Gaia, or Final Fantasy VI, or all of these great Super Nintendo games or old school games come out on the Nintendo Switch, I'm going to be like, okay, that's fine. They don't have anything there because remember, we're going off of what Square Enix said, reboot past IPs on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, all I'm doing is making this video to hold them to that. So if we don't see anything at E3, cool. What about Tokyo Game Show? And that will be the litmus test for me. I guess like the final break would be like that. Reaching the limit with Cloud. We're reaching the limit. I want to see what they're going to do at Tokyo Game Show. I want to see those games come up. Now, I don't want to see stuff that was just on other systems, which I know a lot of people do, which is great, right? If you have games that came out on PS4, Xbox One, blah, 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 you bring them over to the Switch, that's good. I want to see them also, in addition to that, that's cool if they do that, which is fine. I want to see them actually bring over those reboots, bring over those IPs, and they can start with Secret of Mana remake. They can bring that over. Obviously, that game didn't necessarily review the best. People had some issues with it, but they can start with that. I want to see that over because that's one of the most legendary Super Nintendo games of all time. Heck, that game is included in the Super NES Classic. So to me, obviously that development team was given a shoestring budget, right? They were not given a lot of money to work with, which is fine. And they probably weren't given a Switch development kit in time, which is cool. That's fine. But you should probably work on getting that over in addition to the Secret of Mana trilogy or the collection of games as well, because we still haven't even gotten that. You'll release 15 Final Fantasy games on PlayStation 4, whatever the case is, but you can't even bring over a game, you know, that have like old games on the Nintendo Switch that fans have been clamoring for like a year now, or going on a year at this point. So I'd like to see those two starting off. So if they announce those at E3, I'd be happy. But then at Tokyo Game Show or before then, whatever comes first, I need to see some of the stuff that they said they're going to do, retroactively rebooting the good IPs, bringing those ones back. You don't have to do everything that PS4 and Xbox One does. Obviously, those systems do have some more horsepower. There's some stuff that's going to be harder. It might take more time to bring over to the Switch, but there's nothing stopping you guys from actually bringing over a Nintendo Switch game, actually making a Nintendo Switch game. The install base is now big enough to do that. You can invest the time and money to make a PS3 graphics level reboot of some of these old IPs. You can do that. The install base is there. The fans are there to buy your games. Obviously, they're looking at the pre-order numbers and they're looking at all the hype that Project Octopath Traveler is getting. That's an old school RPG, classic made new. You can now have the confidence to do something like that again on the Nintendo Switch, but modernize it, right? Like take a Final Fantasy VI and bring that over, or take a Chrono Trigger or a Chrono Cross and bring those over. There is enough ammunition, there is enough systems out there. You know the system is going to sell. There should be no more excuses past Tokyo Game Show. That's what I want to see. I'm holding Square Enix to that. Hopefully you guys can too. If you want to, if you don't want to, that's fine too. But either way, I just want Square Enix to start putting out some of the stuff that they say they're going to put out. Yes, they've supported the Switch okay at this point. We've gotten stuff like Lost Sphere. We've also gotten Dragon Quest XI, or that's coming at least. We also have, what was it, I Am Setsuna. There's been a number of games. Project Octopath, I'm not complaining a lot at this point because Project Octopath is going to be hyped. That's going to be a great game. And they have some other stuff that I do like on the system. Dragon Quest Builders 1, Dragon Quest Builders 2. There's some good stuff, guys. So I'm not going to sit here and say that they've done nothing and that they're bums like some other companies out there. But at the same time, I just want to see them actually stick to their word, like I said before. And E3 and also Tokyo Game Show are going to be the tests for me, or at least just before those two. So if nothing cool comes out in terms of new announcements for the Switch, like before Tokyo Game Show. So if we get to that point, then Tokyo Game Show comes and goes and there's nothing from them, that's where I'm going to make that video blasting them. That's where I'm going to make that Toby Blaster video where I call them out because they're not actually sticking to their word. Of course, I'm not thinking that's what they're only going to do. I'm just saying I hope that's not it. And I'm thinking that they're going to bring more, but I just want to remind people that they did say that. So go ahead and stick to their word. Go ahead and make sure you follow through with that instead of making like 900 PS4 games and Xbox One games that nobody even buys on the Xbox One. Instead of making all those, you can invest a little bit of time and money into the Nintendo Switch in order to do what you said that you're going to do. So I'm hoping they got that hint last year and those games have been in production and we can get a first glimpse at them this year. So what do you guys think about this whole, I guess you can call it a rant, or you can call it a call out to Square Enix? I know some of you guys have hit me up on Twitter about that and being a little bit more harsh when it comes to it. I'm not trying to make this video to bash Square Enix to oblivion or anything like that. And like I said, I do like the support from Dragon Quest Builders. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is coming. Project Octopath, or I should just say Octopath. I know I said Project before, but Octopath Traveler is coming as well. There's some fantastic games on the Nintendo Switch from Square Enix and coming to the system this year or next year, but at the same time, I still want to hold them to what they said. So what do you guys think about this video? What do you think about Square Enix, and what are you expecting from them on the Nintendo Switch in 2018? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let's know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.